everyone. We wanted to take a minute to talk to you guys today about the coronavirus and all of the hype around that. And so, like every couple years, there's something new that we need to be afraid of, right? And so I wrote them all down here. 2002 was West Nile, 2003 was SARS, 2005 was the bird flu, 2009 was the swine flu, 2014 was Ebola, and then 2015 we had the whole Disney Measles thing, and then 2016 Zika, and now we have coronavirus, which is everybody's kind of freaking out about. And if you think about some of those other things I just mentioned, they just kind of went out of the news and disappeared. So what happened suddenly, right? So we have to ask ourselves, like, what is it with this media hype? And so the very first case of coronavirus showed up in December in Wuhan, China, and still 88% of the cases are still there in China. And so I found this interesting too. The director of the World Health Organization had this to say. He said, "We're not just fighting an epidemic, we're fighting an infodemic." And so you have to be really careful about what you're listening to and what you're sort of falling prey to in the media. And it may not be the whole truth. So we want to break through some of that stuff. And we never want people living in fear. We want to have people living by faith. So why don't you talk for a minute about how the body works and how we can avoid being in fear?
Yeah, first of all, I think there's nothing better in the news, so the news latches onto this.
I don't know about that, but...
And it becomes sensationalized and, people buy in hook, line, and sinker. And so, at the end of the day, we've got to put faith in the fact that the body is amazingly created and that it's designed to be a self-healing organism. Mm-hmm. And so, unfortunately, we lose sight in the fact that the body's made in that capacity, and genetically we're supposed to be healthy and well. And we put more faith in a bottle of man-made chemically engineered pills than we do in the power that made and created the human body. So germs, they're there for a reason. That's part of the natural order. Germs are scavengers. They're there to get rid of dead and unhealthy cells. Mm-hmm. That's their purpose. They're supposed to clean off the planet. And the thing is, like, if you're not a susceptible host, then you're not inviting the germs to come in and do their job. And so when I say that we're amazingly created, we're wonderfully and fearfully made, when I say that, what I'm talking about is like when God created us, he gave us an immune system. Its primary objective is to identify and destroy pathogens and invading organisms and potentially damaging or cancerous type of cells. And if your immune system's working at 100%, then you have nothing to worry about when it comes to germs that are opportunistic, and they're there to get rid of dead and unhealthy cells because your body's amazingly strong. And so there are a lot of things that will influence your immune response and allow you to have this titanium immune system, which we'll talk about as we get through this. Mm-hmm. But if you do those things, you have nothing to worry about something like the coronavirus. It's almost like ludicrous. It's ridiculous that people are so wrapped up into this. And often it's really, really smart people. Mm-hmm. The whole culture has bought into this thing. I have no idea where people are losing their mind over this kind of thing.
Yeah, and just back to the whole germ theory thing. And if you think about like a kindergarten classroom where everybody says if one kid gets sick, watch out. But you know that not every kid in that classroom gets sick. Some kids get sick, some don't. Why? And so if we buy into the germ theory, which says germs are these evil monster and you're powerless against them, then that's intrinsically a fear-based kind of system. So go ahead.
It's insane. Like, we went to church. We normally shake hands at a certain point with people around us, and we go up and we get communion, and we get to drink the blood of Christ and wine. And so they've eliminated, during this period of time, they've eliminated those two processes in church because they're afraid of spreading the germs of the coronavirus. But are you kidding me? Everybody's in the same room, breathing the same air, and we're being exposed to the same germs. You're touching the door handles. You're grabbing all the books and everything else that's in there. I mean, you're exposed to all of the germs that are from the people around you. It's not going to make that much of a difference when you're talking about those other two things.
Yeah,
it's crazy how you could, and it's like a whole BJ Palmer thing. It's like, how come the person next to you never gets sick? And then you're always sick, but you eat at the same table and you're working in the same environment and things like that. you're exposed to the same germs, I guarantee it. The difference is one person has got a stronger immune system, their body's functioning and healing at a higher level, and therefore they are not prone for the germs to come in and do their job.
Right, and that's more of the terrain theory. So it's your internal environment more determines if you're going to become susceptible to those things. And that, on the surface, it's like that gives you so much more control, and it takes away the fear, and it puts the power back in your body that it knows exactly what to do. And so we'll talk about the things that our family does to make sure that our immune systems are titanium, where we're warding off of this stuff. But with regards to the coronavirus, I mean, really, it's just almost the same as a bad cold or the flu, right? And so most people that are exposed to coronavirus, even if they do succumb to it or it, thrives in their body, they're able to recover from it really, really quickly. And symptoms are mild, like fever, headache, muscle aches, sore throat, similar to the flu. And so the people that you hear maybe dying from this disease, we have to consider too, like in China, it's very, very polluted. They may not have access to the best medical care. There's lots of issues there. So we have to consider that. And then also it could be that these people are succumbing to complications from something like a virus, pneumonia, things like that. Often people that are immunosuppressed in the first place. So we have to take that into consideration too. They don't talk about all the cases of people who have the coronavirus, but recovered just fine. It's just like another flu or cold. It may be a little more contagious, but still, most people are going to be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of people are, they've been exposed to a particular germ. They may either develop mild symptoms, like you said. Mm-hmm. If their immune system is not that strong, maybe the symptoms are more serious. And if they're really compromised, they may be very severe. And those are the people that would need to be of concern over these things. And some people are exposed to the virus and they'll develop the antibodies.
That's a good
point.
point. Yeah.
They don't even get a single symptom.
Right.
Not even a single symptom because their immune systems are so strong. But just because the virus is out there doesn't mean that you're not going to be exposed to it. Mm-hmm. and just because you're exposed to it doesn't mean that you're at risk of dying from this thing.
Right.
I mean, it's just crazy how
same
people
thing with measles or a lot of those things. Most people will get it and recover.
Even like with polio. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many people were during the polio epidemic? How many people were exposed to the polio virus that didn't even know they were exposed to it or got the mildest of symptoms? Only certain people, some people, a small percentage of the population, succumbed to the disease and developed a full-blown polio type of situation.
Right.
They tested the blood of so many people that had the antibodies to the polio virus, but they never got sick from it because their bodies are doing exactly what they're intended to do. And that's going to be the most of the cases. It's going to be the rare cases that are the people that become sick. But there's lots you could do to determine whether you're a susceptible host or not.
Yeah, so let's talk about those things, because we don't just, our family's not worried about it, but we're not just throwing our hands up in the air either and rolling the dice. We're actually doing things every single day to build up our immune systems. So getting adjusted. When you get adjusted, how much does that boost your immune system?
When you get an upper cervical adjustment, you get a boost to your immune response by up to 200% because of in the moment of the adjustment, you're having an influence on the nervous system. You literally get a boost to the immune system. Your sympathetics, your parasympathetics, they begin to harmonize and regulate. Your immune response gets that boost. I mean, your chemistry, your body chemistry begins to change. Your hormone levels begin to regulate. Everything is influenced. Your body's functioning and healing at a higher level. So that's like, when the people are under a corrective phase, they're getting adjusted 2 to 3 times a week. And then we've got lots of people that are on a maintenance phase. And we always tell them, even though you're on maintenance, there are times when you may need to come in beyond that. So if you feel like you're under the weather or something like that, or you want to get a boosted immune system, if you have a fall, an accident, injury, that's a time to step outside of your maintenance plan and come in and get extra adjustments. So the most important thing you could do by far and away is to make sure that the very system that governs and controls how your body's functioning and healing, the very system that controls your immune response, digestion, elimination, respiration, everything else, that very system is functioning and healing your body at 100%. That's what the chiropractic adjustment does.
And if there was a pill, a lotion, or a potion that could claim a 200% boost to your immune system, I mean, everybody would be running out to get it. But in addition to that, eating healthy foods, lots of greens, lots of colorful things, staying away from the sugars and the processed carbohydrates, things like that. Moving your body, getting fresh air. Even though it's cold outside, it's really important to expose yourself to fresh air, to sunlight, things like that. Getting sleep, minimizing stress, i.e. not being fearful of the coronavirus. That's actually feeding into depleting your immune system. And so we don't want to live in fear. We want to live more by faith. But all of those things are things that my family does that we encourage you guys to do too. I want to talk about some specific products, but did you want to add anything else there before I get into some natural?
You touched on those things. It's like people don't realize like how much like something like sugar actually suppresses your immune response.
Oh, a lot. Bad
fat, sugar, a lot of the toxins that we're exposed to. So you got to eliminate those things. And I know you're going to talk about some of the nutrients, but even with the exercise piece, I don't care if it's cold or not, you still have a genetic requirement, to be exercising, to get a certain amount of daily activity. And when you do those things, and you allow your body to express in a higher level. Yep. Same thing with sleep and rest, and you nailed it with the stress thing. I mean, people have no idea how significant stress is and its role on how it affects your body's physiology, particularly your immune response literally shuts it down.
Yeah.
And we're worried and concerned about all these things, but at the end of the day, there's a lot more to be focused on, and it's not about the negative, but more on the positive and the natural order and the laws and principles.
Right. And so some of the things that our family does, and I may even increase a little bit during this time of year, and let's be honest, it's not the cold and flu season, it's the not taking care of yourself season, right? Coming off the holidays, eating extra sugar, not moving your body. And so these are some of the things that we do. So doing things like vitamin C, vitamin D3 is absolutely critical. And when it comes to any kind of virus, any kind of flu, there's study upon study that shows that vitamin D3 can not only help avoid it, but if you do get it, helps you recover so much quicker. So we have these new daily essentials, which has the vitamin D. It has the omegas, which are extremely important for our immune system too. Has magnesium, has vitamin B. So this is great. If you feel like you're not getting enough greens and good vegetables and things like that, you can use the Max Greens. This has things in it that you're not going to find or you're not going to make on a regular basis. Curcumin has amazing benefits when it comes to inflammation and just boosting your immune system. Probiotics too, to make sure that the good healthy bacteria in your gut stays where it needs to be. Something like elderberry syrup. This is my homemade version. If I get a chance, I'll try to make a couple batches for you guys at the office to grab. But elderberry syrup boosts your immune system. And then, essential oils like something like thieves or frankincense that are natural sort of antibacterials. We don't want you guys using the antibacterial soaps and the hand sanitizers. That stuff is super highly toxic. So if you want the stuff, you can pick it up in the office or on our website, or I can tell you how to get the essential oils. But just to wrap up, why don't we talk about how to put this in perspective too, like what people should maybe be worried about.
I want to talk about this too. Yeah. It's like, so, you know me, I mean, I never was the hugest fan on supplements, but I mean, you almost have to these days because our nutrient supply is so deleted in the diet of Americans. But so I think that, if you're doing everything right and you're getting all these nutrients through a natural diet, that's the best way to do this, but
of course
that's not how it's happening. So these things are essential, and you can't start putting your money in a lot of garbage that's out there on the market, because a lot of these supplements, you're really just wasting your money. That's why I love what Max Living has done. We know we could trust these products and they're going to be safe and effective.
Yep.
But the other thing I wanted to mention too is that it's all about being pure and sufficient. You got to give the body what it needs. There's no doubt about it, because it's going to take the nutrients, the food that you eat, and turning it into living, loving, thinking clay of a human being. But their support systems to the life that flows across the nervous system. That is the key to being healthy and well, is taking the very system, the nervous system that governs and controls the body, remove the interference so that your body can function and heal at its ideal level. So it can take those nutrients and again turn them into the tissue cells of the body.
Yep.
So that's the key. So it's crazy how people have lost their minds over this media frenzy with the coronavirus. And I don't know, I mean, I've heard conflicting reports as to how many people in the United States of America have succumbed to the corona.
I think I heard maybe the first death over the weekend.
Maybe the first one. I've heard different things.
Yeah.
I've heard different things. But at the end, so you're talking to like one person dying and people are freaking out. But let's face it, if you want to be afraid of something, there's like 800,000 Americans that die every year from cancer. There's another 700,000 people that die from from the first one's heart disease. Second one is cancer. And you have another 600,000 people that are dying from diabetes.
Yeah, and then you even have drunk drivers and medical errors, all of these things
and crime
that are way
and
more.
Everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be more concerned about maybe falling out of an airplane or something, or your airplane falling out of the sky. I don't know, but I'm sure that there's more people that are dying from those kind of things, and no one's freaking out over all that. But if you got 700, 800, we're talking 800,000 people, 700,000, 600 people dying from the big three. That's where we should be concerned. You should be freaking out over that so you don't become another statistic.
And that's where the 5 essentials, it's the same answer.
And it's the same answer. So, and that's like how we are every day. We're freaking out every single day for people over the past 25 years because of those staggering numbers of Americans dying. 5 out of 6 people dying from cancer or heart disease. We're freaking out over that. That's what you should be freaking out of. And if you're going to be radically like changing your lifestyle and avoiding going out in the public on a weekend because you're afraid of the coronavirus or something like that. No, start exercising. Start making sure that you're eating well. Start making sure that you're getting adjusted regularly. You're moving to toxin. You're doing all the right things so that you decrease your chance to become another statistic of those big three. And in the process of doing that, you know what you're doing as far as your chances of ever being a statistic of the coronavirus?
Do I know?
You're absolutely crushing those things. So, but yeah, I mean, just again, this every day you have a responsibility to yourself. When I ask people what their health plan is and they say Cigna, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, whatever it may be, that's your sick plan. You need to have a health plan. You need to have a health plan. So when I ask what's your health plan, I'm asking what are you doing today as far as creating amazing health? Like what time are you exercising today? What did you have for breakfast? What are you eating for lunch? What are you doing to build better relationships or improve your spiritual walk? What time or what days of the week are you getting adjusted this week? What are you doing to remove the toxic loads and exposure? And if we have a true health plan and you create amazing health, where there's an abundance of light, there is no darkness. Where there's abundance of health, there is no sickness and disease. And you don't have to worry about when things like the coronavirus pop up because next year it's going to be something else.
Oh, it'll
5
definitely
years
be
from
something
now,
else.
it'll be something beyond that. 10 years, it's going to be something else.
Yeah, and let's even go back in history. So I wanted to leave you guys with this too. This is so cool. So back in 1918, you guys know about the global flu pandemic where 20 million people died that year. But there's statistics and records from 1918, documentation that shows there were 925 deaths out of every 10,000 people treated medically back in that day, but only 25 deaths out of every 10,000 people treated with spinal adjustments. They actually studied this. It was in Davenport, Iowa.
Yes, it was.
And then historical data shows that people under chiropractic care have 98% better chance of surviving some tragic pandemic. So even if coronavirus is a thing, you being under chiropractic care is reducing your chances of being affected by that by 98%. Sign us up for that.
It's scientific.
Yeah.
It's scientific. This is not our opinion. And it makes perfect sense too. It's just common sense. Since your nervous system governs and controls every function of your body, including your immune response, it only makes sense by removing the interference, allow your body to function and heal, that you become healthier and you become less of a statistic.
Yep.
So, all right.
So don't be worried about the coronavirus. Ask us questions if you want to, but everyone be blessed.